What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad? Thankfully, not in this movie. I just got out of James Gunn's Suicide Squad, the new one, and I could not be any happier with the departure that it was from the older Suicide Squad. Now, I think it was very honorable of James Gunn to thank and to mention David Ayer, the director of the original Suicide Squad. I noticed that in like first billing and credits for the thanks from the director and the crew of the new movie. But this movie excels in almost every area it needed to rip its own identity away from the original or prequel ? There's some tie-ins and like some of it makes sense, and some of the characters definitely help to understand in the original movie. But I really like this one, leaning into the comic bookness of it. I don't feel like there are a lot of movies besides maybe some of the Marvel movies that really take cues right off of a page. But man, did this movie feel like one of the most ripped straight from the pages of a comic book that I've ever seen, for better or worse. I think that James Gunn did a great job of directing his vision for it. It seems fairly evident that Warner Bros. DC didn't have too much of a producing pull into it about maybe taking things away that he didn't want it to. It seems like almost every wacky and insane idea that ended up in the movie was probably James Gunn's idea. And if not, I think that's a pretty safe bet to throw it his way anyways, in case it did slip in and not everybody was really okay with it. We'll just put it on him either way. But man, what great direction of the movie. I've never seen such an interesting avenue taken for a superhero movie. Well, whatever, supervillain movie, for a Task Force X movie that could be so throwaway, but also find ways to be meaningful at the same time. I felt like he just nailed it right on the head. And from all the side characters that like open up the movie to who you'll find out survives along the way, it's just such a thrilling and laughable experience. And I don't remember one of the last times I laughed as often as I did in the theater than in this movie. And I think the characters played to themselves well. I don't think there were any kind of like personality or like pride issues where sometimes characters will do and say and act like maybe you think other characters would. And it can kind of be sloppy writing, but it can kind of just be like, oh, anyone can say a joke now. But what was really sticking with me was the consistency of the characters. And you just don't see that often in comic book movies or DC movies for that matter. And so I just wanted to get some thoughts out of it as I'm walking out of the theater for my first time seeing it, and be on the lookout for my full review and rating and breakdown of what I thought. And so I will catch you guys later.